Because crying, I believe, is an emotional outburst when you've gotten to your wits' end. Hello, welcome. This is Let It Be podcast with Lysias Susan, airing on Expand with Lysias and Susan. Have you ever wondered about this phrase, men don't cry? And has it occurred to you that it is stereotype and happens to be said all over the world? Sometimes the reason for saying some of these stereotype words or phrase is actually not known. But as you continue, we'll get to know how beneficial it is, whether it has helped men become the men that they are supposed to be, or whether it has made them weaker. Please, if you have not subscribed, this would be a very good time to do so. Also, hit that notification button so you will be notified anytime we drop any new video. Also, please give us some likes. This will help the YouTube algorithm in sending our videos to other viewers. Also, don't forget to comment. We'd like to know what your opinion are and also what your thoughts are. You know that, as we say on Let It Be, your opinion also counts. So I remember years ago when I lost my dad, and the truth about it is that he was ill for a while and then he passed, and it was very, very painful. The truth is, I've never felt that kind of pain before. A pain that hits you deep and leaves you empty, searching for what to hold on to, searching for comforting words, something to just keep you going and like keep your head above the water. Incidentally, when that happened, one of the things that I could remember vividly was an uncle of mine tapping me on my back and telling me, "Be strong, men don't cry." Despite the pain I was going through, somehow I was able to keep the tears down. But that doesn't mean that I didn't find one solid quiet place to cry, because I just could not understand how I was feeling. I couldn't explain to anybody. But you see, we're here today to talk about that phrase, that stereotype phrase, men don't cry. Could it be possible that there are cases and there are, instances where men could be allowed to cry? Because crying, I believe, is an emotional outburst when you've gotten to your wits' end, or when you are faced with, a situation you have never felt before, you have never encountered before, something that that made you so speechless that you couldn't utter one word. Now I understand that phrase was used just to give men courage, so they could soldier on, as it were. They could meet the enemy head on. There are instances when the situation you are in becomes so heavy on you, you can't explain, there's no one who would understand what it is you're going through. And at that time, I believe that it is possible for men to break down and cry. I have seen men cry over the death of a loved one. I have seen men cry over the death of a property. I have seen men crying in so many different situations. And I come to the conclusion that men do cry. Men do cry. It might not necessarily be the kind of crying that you're screaming and rolling around in the mud, but it is tears all the same. And there are reasons for it. There are reasons when men cry. Now, for instance, for the example I gave you concerning my dad, the pain was so deep and I did cry. Though I didn't cry, within the hospital environment, but when I got home, the impact of what happened, the import of my loss, hit me, and I couldn't stop the tears anymore, because in every part of the house that I went to, I could see my dad. I could see his footprints. I could see something about him, all around. And to come to terms with the fact that I will not be seeing him ever again, got me so touched that I had to cry. I think I cried for about 10, 15 minutes, and then, with tears in my eyes, I finally fell asleep, But when I woke up stronger, because I realized that is what life was all about. He has done his part. He had stepped out of the way. He had handed over the baton to me. Now it was my own responsibility to continue from where he has stopped. Not necessarily in the same field, but continue in the good deeds and being a good person that he has, raised us all to be. See that men do cry. The situation where men cry is actually different. Some could cry just because they can't explain themselves. Like I said, I've seen men cry because they want to control their emotions. Something happened, they're so angry about it, angry to the point that they want to really slug it out, fist to fist, man to man, as it were. But everybody around is holding on to them, telling them, no, you shouldn't fight, you shouldn't fight. And to let that emotion out, a lot of men I've seen in situations like that break down and cry. Now, I'd like you to understand that crying in that kind of situation has nothing to do about weakness, because a lot of times that catchphrase, that stereotype phrase, meant to mean that crying is only for girls, crying is only for women, but that's not true. So for someone in that kind of a situation, crying helps him to get control of himself, get control of his emotion, and be able not to fight, because it could result in so many other things. It could result in someone dying and a court case and the rest of it, and you virtually losing your life. So if you have to cry to control your emotion, please do, so that you can save yourself the agony of being imprisoned. All right, so that is another scenario for men to cry. Also, it could be that you've done all you could, in trying to save a situation, and at the end you still lost out. The pain comes that you feel like you're a failure, you feel like you've lost everything. Instances like that, you can actually break down, you can actually cry, and it wouldn't mean that you are weak. Understand? I know that there are a lot of strong men out there who, despite whatever it is that they are going through, despite whatever you throw at them, stand tall and resolute and don't cry. Not necessarily before the ladies anyway, but there are men out there, and I give them all the kudos. But you see, psychologically, I feel that crying helps you to take control of your emotion. Crying helps you to get over yourself. Crying helps you to tell yourself that you're not a failure, and that because you failed at the first time doesn't mean and doesn't really connote that you're a failure. It just means that you've learned how not to do whatever it is that you were doing. You understand? So psychologically, there are also importance of crying. Crying helps you. Crying helps you to calm yourself down. Crying also helps you to, lastly, may make you feel good about yourself and about your situation. You see, to men, crying is like letting out those steam that we usually don't do. You usually don't get to see men rant about something that is not working, get to talk about it over and over and over again. So sometimes maybe it's out of frustration that men will just look for a corner and cry it out. But what that helps you to do is that it helps you to keep you in check and let you know that you're also human and you have your own emotions. Okay, you are not emotionless as people might think. So crying does help you, and it helps you resolve a lot of situations. It helps you get out of a bad situation also, if you are that crying type. So if you need to cry, please do cry. But then again, I know that there are some people that when they cry, they get really, really agitated. Yes, they cry. The crying makes them much more angry because they feel they're weak, and then it makes them do horrible things. Yes, it makes them do horrible things. But then, just like I said, I just want to ask us one or two questions. Do you think that there are situations where men should cry, or do you feel that crying makes men weak, or crying shows that individual is weak? Please let us know what your comments are. So you say, like the first instance I gave you, that I had to cry for my late father. You see, I was able to control myself after that years, and every other event that followed after that, visitors coming, having to meet one or two people, making preparation for the burial, and so many other things. I could stand tall because I had gotten closure on the issue, and I have been able to tell myself this thing has happened and it's nobody's fault. So it helped me. Now, even during the burial, I know that at the final burial I still shed tears because I loved them, and I was going to miss him. I was going to miss him because he was my go-to person. I could speak with him on any subject, any topic whatsoever. I could ask my dad anything. He was that calm with me. So I knew I was going to miss him, and for me that was the last time. I do miss him. Even right now I still miss him, but I miss him in a loving manner. I think back on the memories we've had together, and it keeps me going. So what are those things that has made you cry, and how did you feel after you cried? And what do you think about this stereotype phrase, men don't cry? Do you think that it has helped men become men, or it has turned them to become weaker vessels? Just share your thoughts and your comment with us in the comment section below. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. This is a very good time for you to subscribe and also share with your loved ones and your friends. Also, please let us know. So this is where I'm signing out for today. I'd like to hear more from you. Also, please, if you have not subscribed, this will be a good time to do so. Also, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified anytime we drop any new video. Please give us some likes. Like I said before, it will help the YouTube algorithm in recommending our videos to other viewers also. Thank you. See you some other time. Be strong.